Lamont Street, that's where they send the kids on Halloween to get lost, my father chuckled. Johnny's dad laughed right along with him. That was before Johnny went missing. It was especially dark that night, the full moon playing hide-and-seek in and out of the tombstone gray clouds and hiding more often than not. Johnny and I ran side by side, multiple bags bulging with candy. He feigned a punch at my side and I bobbed out of the way of his monster-clawed hand, only to find myself running into his fist anyway. He laughed so hard he had to pull up short. When I stopped rolling my eyes, I realized we'd arrived at our goal, the home of the Lamont Street Witch. The house loomed over us, dark and brooding. Its shutters clung to life by single nails. Its wood was cracked and splintered. It was a haunted house straight out of those late-night scary movies, except for a warm light emanating through a lonely window with its curtains pulled back. "You sure you want to do this?" I asked. Johnny nodded furiously, almost before I'd even finished the question. "I'm not worried about it." His eyes blinked more times than I could count, a dead giveaway that he was lying. "You came to know these things about your best friend of 10 years. He must have sensed I wasn't buying it, because he added, "They say she's got the best candy bars around. Whole candy bars, and none of the cheap kind either." I let out a deep breath. "Okay then, let's do this." As we trudged towards the house, the door creaked open, though I couldn't see anyone waiting. I glanced around before we took the steps and noticed the streets were oddly quiet. No other costumed kids to be seen. Each step bowed under our feet as if the wood would give way at any moment. To our credit, we hesitated only a moment, then went inside. A thick cloud of scents filled my nose, reminding me of my mother's spice cabinet and the herbs growing in the garden. The shift in light made me blink, and I had to squeeze my eyes shut for a terrifying moment until they adjusted. When I opened them, I saw a simple room. A single lamp sat on a side table. Beside it, a kindly-looking woman rocked in a rocking chair, holding a glass full of the stuff that my dad always called hair of the dog, but I'm pretty sure it was just alcohol. A strange smoke rose from it, as if it were a hot tea on a cool night. The woman smiled at Johnny and I as we approached, then nodded toward a long, low table. A large wooden bowl sat on top, full to the brim with candy bars. And not the cheap kind neither, just like Johnny had said. Curiously, there were small corked bottles beside it, filled with different colored liquids. "Go on then," the kindly woman said. "Take what you wish, though you may only take one." "Thank you, ma'am," I stammered, remembering the manners my father had instilled in me at the end of a belt. I snatched a Hershey's bar from the bowl and bounced back toward the doorframe. "You may call me Miss Covenbrook," she said. "And for you, young man?" Johnny stood stock still, his eyes glimmering, glued to the many-colored bottles. "Grab a bar and let's go, man," I said out of the corner of my mouth, elbowing him. Johnny didn't seem to hear me, instead reverently lifting a bottle filled with golden liquid. He stashed it in his bag and nodded toward the woman. "Thank you, Miss Covenbrook." I dragged Johnny out of the house, pulling him along to try and put as much distance between us and the house as quickly as possible. "What was that all about?" I demanded. Johnny shrugged. "Nothing." His eyes blinked fast. "Hey, I gotta pee. Be right back." Before I could say anything else, he disappeared into the darkness between two houses. Kind of a weird thing, I realized in retrospect, but I listened to him peeing. I didn't hear the sound of liquid, but I swear I heard the sound of a cork popping. I don't know exactly how long I waited. We didn't have smartphones back in those days, and I wasn't old enough for a watch, but it felt like at least 5 minutes. Too long. I rushed in the direction of where I had last seen Johnny. "Hey man, you done?" I called, making sure he knew to wrap things up. "You peeing a whole river or something?" I joked weakly. "Our houses aren't that far if you're going number..." I trailed off as my foot kicked something hard that clinked against one of the houses. I bent and picked it up, already knowing it would be the glass bottle from Miss Covenbrook. I held it up. The light of the full moon twinkled and danced against the empty glass. "Johnny?" I called, feeling more frantic. "Johnny, not funny, man!" I circled both houses. Nothing. I ran back to the street, doubling back. Nothing. I steeled myself and walked back in front of the Covenbrook house. It sat dark, its doors closed, its lonely window now curtained. In its state of disrepair, it looked abandoned now that the warm light had disappeared. I ended up sprinting all the way home, my heart in my throat, straight to my parents. They told Johnny's parents, and they, in turn, called the police. They searched in and out of every house in a 10-block radius, the Covenbrook house included, and found nothing. When I asked, my parents wouldn't tell me if they'd found and questioned Miss Covenbrook in the house or not. Tonight, Johnny came back. He waltzed right up to me as if he'd just gone for the same pee for a couple minutes and was ready to go home to sort through our candy spoils. He looked exactly as I remembered him. In fact, he hadn't aged a day. It's just that he disappeared 50 years ago. I tried not to think much of it. Maybe it was just a kid that looked like him, I rationalized. I invited him in and sat him at my dining room table, asking him to wait just a moment while I made a quick call. He nodded his agreement, his eyes blinking rapidly. His parents were understandably frantic on the phone. I didn't tell them about his frozen appearance, just that he looked like the Johnny I remembered. They were in the car before we hung up, rushing as fast as they could to my house from the county over. When I came back to the dining room, Johnny was gone again. The only evidence he'd been there was a small glass bottle with gleaming golden liquid. I looked all over the neighborhood for him, and then again with the help of his hysterical parents once they arrived. I felt awful. They swore at me for playing the worst Halloween prank ever on them. I swore I'd been telling the truth. I doubt it did any good. I stomped back into my living room, angry at myself, at Johnny, at Miss Covenbrook. I had no answers, and all I wanted to do was escape for a moment. So I uncorked the small bottle and downed the golden liquid in one swig. It went down smoothly, reminiscent of a whiskey, though not like anything exactly I'd ever tasted. I drifted into a fitful sleep, tossing and turning all night. I woke to the ding of a news notification on my phone. 10 children had disappeared overnight. The only clue? A small empty glass bottle where they'd last been seen.